You are looking live at the flight deck of the newly released Just Flight F28, now native version for 2024, so taking advantage of all of 2024's updates over 2020. How you doing, everybody? I'm CJ. I'm your classic jet sim pilot, and today we're going to continue our F28 adventure as we head from Tampa down to Miami as a Piedmont in their famous Florida Shuttle services that they ran in the 80s. So we're here in the F28. The sun is just coming up. We've just entered the cockpit. So let's get things rolling here so we can get the folks down to Miami to make their connections. Checking the battery voltage. Looks good. We do have external power connected, and that looks good as well. So we'll get the battery on. Do a quick check. Make sure nothing bad's going to happen when we apply the AC power. Your levers down, throttles are at idle. Speed brakes, lift dumpers are down, flaps are up, radar is off, and the wipers are off. Looking good. Make the yoke disappear for a second here. Get some panel lighting up. Get a little floodlight going. And the same thing over here for the first officer. Flare shield lighting, overhead lighting. Okay. The new EFB here in the Just Flight. We'll go ahead and Tampa, Miami 765 is correct. I'm also going and loading into VATSIM. Yeah, I've been spending some time in this airplane. It is really just a lot of fun. There is no doubt about it. And you'll notice I do not, as I did on my other flight, don't have any GPSs or INSs loaded in. You can use the universal FMS if you'd like, or the newer sort of Garmin 430 replica. But frankly, I prefer to just do it the old-fashioned way. It's kind of fun too, and we'll talk about that as I go, how we're going to navigate our way down to Miami. It takes a little time if you're not used to it, and I am a licensed pilot, former commercial pilot. But it's really not that hard if you haven't done it before. So we got about 16,000 pounds of fuel. 10.3. Let's make sure that matches up with the OFP before we go much further. Excuse me. Yep, 10,600 pounds of fuel looks good. And before we start boarding, we'll go ahead and lights are on, generators are on, do the overhead panel. All the buses are powered. The bus transfer and isolate switches are guarded. TRU is on, lights are working, batteries on, switches are guarded. We'll arm those lights, the emergency lights. APU Gen 3 light is operating. The overspeed light is operating. We don't want to start the APU quite yet. Starter valve light is working. Master's off. Master's off. Make sure we got about 28 volts running through the buses. 24 on the batteries. And then AC power running through the system. Excellent. We'll go up to the lead supply, the HP, overheat. Lights are running, they're all on. Duct leak light works. We got those on in the reset position. The temperature controls are sort of in the middle. We've got it set to auto. The flight attendant has control over the cabin pressure. Today we are climbing to 17,000 feet. So we'll set this for... Actually, we won't. We'll set it to just above sea level, since that's where we're at and that's where we're headed. We don't need to have the cabin altitude go down on a flight like this. And the de-icing system, we'll check the overheat lights. They're all on reset. Excuse me, sorry about that. I assume it's not below... Nope, it is not below 20 degrees, so we can leave the windshield heat in the off position for now. And the engine anti-ice is off. Ice detect light, pitot and vane switches are off. Go ahead and get the no smoking sign on. Test that. Looks good. Alternate brake handles are forward. Nose wheel steering switch is off. We got that set. We should have 6 lights. We'll test them all. And then we've got 6 on. So that looks good. Today out of Tampa, departure ATIS is uniform in the real world. Excuse me while I gotta take a drink. Love the production values on this deal, huh? Alright. Tampa information uniform. Wind 050 at 510 miles. Few at 500. Few at 3000. Temperature 21, dew point 19. Altimeter 3006. Go ahead and get that set in there. 3006. Departing runway 1 left. Okay. So runway 1 left. And runway 1 left has a 8 degrees. So we'll set 8 degrees on our heading. So that's good. We can set 10 degrees on the pitch, just so we have it on the flight director for our departure. We'll leave that off for now. We'll set up the nav radios in just a bit. Over here, we'll do the comparator test. Slow, needle, fast, needle. There we go. Test the amber lights, test the green lights. We've got no unusual flags here. We've got DC power. I need to remember to turn the radio masters on earlier.
Glide slope. Pull up.
Fuel shutoff valves are open. The handles are in. Outer marker lights, bulbs work. put in 17,000 feet in our altilerter. Just as a reminder, this is not an altitude pre-select. It is only an altitude alerter. Switches are all guarded. We've got good pressure. We'll go ahead and release the parking brake, and as we test the anti-skid, the skid control, the accumulator pressure will drop a little bit, and we'll get the light. That is a good test. Coming across here, nothing unusual on the indicators. Oil temp, fuel temp are roughly the outside temperature. Gear handle is down. And we'll assume the FO is doing their side. We will test the door lights, make sure they're working. Which reminds me, let's go ahead and attach the jetway. Here it comes. Alright, coming down the center panel. Check all our hydraulic lights, they're working. Filter ice lights. APU fire test. We will reset. I don't know why those load in the open position. Good test on the fuel gauges. Fuel crossfeed is off. Actually, we can go ahead and do the fire line test too. Right there, 2 lights on the down. 2 lights on the down. TPA test, they should go to about 4. Put the radar on standby. Either fuel, there are 2 fuel pumps on each side. Either one should be able to supply the system with adequate pressure. Looks like it does. Go ahead and get the nav lights on. We're on VHF 1, which is what we need. Turn the ADF on in case we need it. I need to send my flight plan to VATSIM. I did not get... There we go. Now we're cooking. 5133. Be our squawk code. 5133. Turn it on. ADF2 is on. All the hydraulic switches are up. Lights on as normal. And let's see. Our CTAF. $19.5. Control lock is on. This is a gotcha in this airplane. You got to make sure that you have that appropriately, and the emergency gear handle is down. Let's go ahead and start boarding. Back to aircraft, people. Forgot we have full GSX integration now. Here we go. Lights and music. The groovy boarding music. Let's do our originating flight checklist. Maintenance status has been checked. Surfaces and shocks are checked. Batteries checked and on. Gear levers down. Hydraulic pumps are off. Radar's in standby. APU fire extinguisher's been checked. APU start. Yeah, we can go ahead and start the APU. Let's do it. Battery's on. Turn the main switch on. We've already done the fire test, so we're good to go. Gotta wait 10 seconds for the APU door to open. Alright, let's fire it up. 45%. Starter light goes off. Looks like a good start to me. Let's get the generator on. Excellent. Gen 3 looks good. Turn one pack on because the APU can only supply enough air for one pack, so we'll get the cabin to a nice temperature, although it is nice outside. There was no particular reason to start it up. Temperature wise, flap lever position indicators checked, radio switches are on. And we'll go ahead and do our before start checklist. Our originating flight. We got purple people. You know what? I even ran GSX. Supposedly updated it. That's disappointing. Well, we won't look back there too much. Interior exterior pre-flight's complete. Oxygen is checked. It's actually over here. I didn't bother to check it. But we'll assume it's okay. Emergency lights are armed. Air conditioning, one off, one on. Pressurization is set. Windshield heat is off for right now. Actually, in this part of the checklist now, we turn to low. So my mistake. No smoking, seatbelt sign. Fueling's complete. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. Voice recorder's been checked. Engine fire warning's checked. Jip whiz is checked. Instruments are synced and cross-checked. Parking brake is set. Anti-skid is set. Fuel. We had about 10,600 pounds. And it is distributed properly. Hydraulics have been checked. Radios, radar, and transponder. Alright, let's set up for our departure. So our departure out of here will be via... we do not have a SID, but we're going to take off and then we're going to intercept the St. Pete 138 degree radial. So St. Pete is 116.4. And 138 is the radial we want. Okay, so that southeast radial is Victor 97, and we are flying at 17,000 feet will be our altitude, and we're going to take that radial to La Belle, which is 110.4. Oops, this way, 132, and it'll be 132 by the time we get to La Belle. And then outbound from La Belle, Victor 97, all the way down to Dolphin. And at some point we'll self-vector us onto an ILS. Miami arrival. Yeah, we're landing east. We'll plan on runway 9. So let's plan on runway 9. because our gates are down on the south side of the terminal. Okay. So we'll plan on runway 9, and we'll talk about our transition from the en route to the terminal area when we get a little closer. But we're all set up. 116.4 is PIE, St. Pete, and 138 degree radial. All right, looking good. How we doing on our boarding here? You full of purple people yet? I'm gonna go ahead and close the door because that's annoying. Looks like our baggage is just about done. Now, I downloaded a livery off of the TO, a Piedmont livery, so it's for the 1000. We are flying the Mark 1000 today. Unfortunately, the livery, even though he said he updated it for 2024, does not appear to have loaded in properly. So I'm not sure what the story of that is, but you can see all the textures that didn't load. But anyway, they're finishing up, so let's finish our before start and get out of here. Radio's radar and transponder set and stand by. Speed brake is in, lift dumpers are in, TTC switches are in takeoff. Rudder and aileron trim is checked. ACARS we don't have. Flight recorder is set. Gear pins are removed. Papers aboard. Thrust index. We're going to be doing the flaps 11 takeoff today. So we will click on the flaps 11 column. And lo and behold, we get our V-speeds 2635. And then our flap retraction speed is 145.
Boarding is complete.
Thank you. And then our single engine climb 155. So V1 and rotate same speed. And our thrust index is 169. So at 100% power, that sets where our engines are set. And the TTC ensures we don't overtemp the engines. So we will go to the detent. And if we're not quite at 100%, we'll advance a little bit past that. And in this airplane, there's a little cheat when the throttles are in the proper position. In the detent, which is really what you want for climb, for sure. This little light, the heading comparator light, this will come on to let you know. There's also a very faint click, so either way, helps you out. But the before takeoff checklist is complete. We'll go ahead and call for pushback. Oh, need to close the door.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross-check.
Have the jacks removed. What else do I have going on here? Oh. There we go. I had to dismiss the GPU. I forgot about that. Yes, yeah, it says ready. That means it's plugged in. So we'll wait for them to disconnect that, and then we will be on our way.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
We'll go ahead and get the beacons on.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
We're going to push back nose right. APU has been disconnected. Excuse me. I need to set up an easy mute button for the microphone because that's really annoying.
Locking gear.
We want to face west, southwest on Zulu. Yep.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
All right. We've got good pressure. We can turn the starter master switch on. And we'll go ahead and start number 2. Make sure we're clear of the jetway first. Yep. Turning 2. Switch over. We should hear the start valve light open. The start valve light will come on, and we hear the bleed cut off to the cabin. And now we're watching the HP, which is like N2. When it's between 10 and 20, we'll move the fuel control lever to start. There we go. Start. The igniter's running, or on. Got fuel flow. Looks like we have light off at 400 degrees or 50%, whichever comes first. We'll move the fuel control to run. 400 degrees to run. There we go. Ooh, the oil pressure dropped for a second. It's a little odd. Looks like a good start to me. Let's turn 1.
Please set parking brakes.
Watching that N2. Between 10 and 15. Or 15 and 20. 15. Goes to run. Ignition. We've got fuel flow. Watching the TGT. Looks like we've got light off. Got N1.
Unlocking gear.
Watching the TGT for the hot start. Watching the N2 for the hung start. There's 400 degrees. We'll move the fuel control to run.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Looks good. Generator's on. Lights are out. We can turn off the APU air. Turn on the other pack. Get the de-ice. We can move the engine anti-ice to auto. She just gave us the wave. She's got the pins. Fuel pumps. All the hydraulic lights are out. Go ahead and arm the lift dumpers. We'll go to flaps 11. All right, after start. Warning door lights are out. Nothing over here. The booster pumps are on. Electrical generators are on, and we did not specifically check them, but we'll go ahead and do that now. Got good DC power. Good AC power. APU air is off. Starter master switch is off. Air conditioning pressure both on and set. Anti-ice is auto. Pitot heat is on. Fuel valve levers are open. And flight control lights are out. After start checklist complete. Let's start our taxi. (19.5, 19.5). Tampa traffic. Piedmont 765. We're taxiing from the airside Echo to runway 1 left. Tampa. Did you open the door? Quite ready for you yet. Alright. Brake is off. Taxi light. And here we go.
Cabin is secured for departure.
Thank you. Alright, we'll head out. We're on Zulu. We'll take a left on Victor, transfer over to Whiskey, and head down to the end of the runway here. Using vertical sims, excellent Tampa scenery. Forget to do that. The left, the right. Yaw dampers in, flight controls are checked, flaps are set at 11. Stabilizer trim. Yeah, we're about 4 nose up. That's usually about right. Lift dumpers are armed and ready. Ready light is on. Reflector tank indicators are black. Cabin door is closed. Shoulder harnesses are secured. Takeoff data and brief reviewed. Bug set. Alright, this will connect us up with Whiskey, I think it is. Take us to the end.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff.
It's kind of a fun little touch Just Flight has on their airplanes, isn't it? The cabin announcements. Alright, we'll go ahead and shut the APU down. supposed to shut it down with the overspeed button. That is my mistake. It's also a way to test to make sure that works. Old habits. Going right up to 17,000 feet. That's setting the altimeter, and we'll get the lights here in just a second. Alrighty. So it'll be a takeoff straight ahead. Any malfunction prior to 80 knots, all aboard. Anything above 80 knots but before V1, engine fire, engine failure, wind shear, loss of direction or control, or anything that makes the airplane potentially unflyable. Call abort. We'll manually deploy the lift dumpers. When max braking will stop on the runway. Anything above V1 will continue. We're not going to touch anything except for gear up to 400 feet, and we'll identify the failed engine and then pull out the checklist, or identify the failure and then pull out the appropriate checklists. We are fine for immediately returning to Tampa. We've got lots of runway. It's a nice day. We'll just make the left-hand traffic pattern. Come right back in. Any questions? Nope. Here we go. Lights. I see one left. Altitude on. I think we are ready to go. Hold the brakes, bring the power up. This airplane, you keep your hand on the tiller till 80 knots. See this power indicator's coming up. There's the click. Not quite at 100. So
Power set.
Power set, the man says. Brakes are released. Love the way the airplane squats too when you got the power plug.
80 knots.
80 knots. I'm on the oak.
Rotate.
Perhaps 10 degrees.
Positive climb.
You're up.
Gear up.
We can go right to 15 or V2 plus 10.
Flaps up.
Alright, we're past the
Set climb
acceleration
now.
altitude. Bring the powers back to the notch. And now we want to accelerate to 250 knots. Go ahead and set the pitch. Autopilot in. Heading. Pitch. There, left turn. Heading 180 to intercept the outbound course. Oops, we got that left turn. Gotta make sure you're on the right side of the compass. We are accelerating 250 knots. There's 250, so we go to IAS mode. Our pitch should somewhere be around 6-7 degrees, something like that. Keep bringing our heading bug around. Beautiful Tampa Bay. Alright, after takeoff checklist, no smoking. Smoke them if you got them. Landing gears up, flaps are up. Air conditioning and pressurization is good. Lift dumpers are in. TTC switches. Ironclad. Alright. We are on our southerly heading. Climbing out over the bay. It's a beautiful morning here in South Florida. At 10,000 feet, we'll accelerate on up to 280 knots. There it is. So we're using the pitch switch. And this airplane, you fly the autopilot with the pitch switch quite a bit because there is no, the only real climb mode you have is either pitch or IAS. And so if you need to change your rate, you need to use the pitch switch. If you need to change your speed, you need to use the pitch switch. In fact, let's go ahead and set our bug. We're about 280. That's about right. We'll watch that fast slow indicator. Once it centers. Or once we're on 280. There's 280. Yes. And away we go. We're through 10,000 feet. Alright, we should be coming up to our course soon. As soon as we do, we can hit the beam button. I forgot to turn on the DMEs. But here comes the needle. Let's fly the airplane first. We don't need the DME right this second. There's beam. Low. Also slew the heading bug around. Yeah, we're pretty close to VOR, so it was easy to fly right through it. That's right. We'll get back on course here. Alright, our distance to the LaBelle VOR . It's 95 miles. So somewhere around the 45 mile mark, 46 mile mark. A changeover, because there is no depicted changeover point. 1,000 ago. As let's get our rate of climb down to 1,000 feet a minute. Just sort of tapping the pitch button, because as you bring the pitch down, the rate of climb will decrease, and then as the speed picks up a little bit, the airplane will start to climb again. So just sort of tapping it down. And there is our altitude. Altitude hold. And now we want to cruise at Mach 0.7 or 300 knots. So we'll let the airplane accelerate a little bit. And then we'll bring the power back. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's a piece of cake. You're a little busier than you are in a modern airliner, that is for sure. Don't anticipate any need for it. We'll go ahead and turn the radar on just in case. And we're coming up on our cruise speed. It'll probably be somewhere around 90% HP. So once that centers, then bring that power back. 90. See what that does with our speed. Just a hair under 300 knots. We'll let the plane settle down a little bit and we'll adjust a little at a time. Love this cockpit. The F28 has such a unique layout, and it's all part of what makes it so much fun to fly. Each pilot has their own set of throttles. Big old speed brake handle. Remember, the speed brake is in the tail in this airplane. Very effective. Don't get full extension of it until you're below 190 knots, but it's pretty cool. The old flap handle. And then these giant aileron rubber trim wheels. Just a really neat place to spend some time. Alright, not quite enough power. Let's bump it up to about 90, 91 and a half, 92-ish. See what that does. Getting close to our halfway point. Labella is classed as a low, I believe. Power VOR, but we should pick it up here shortly. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's one of the. I was hoping they were going to address the kind of unrealistic service volumes, Navigate service volumes in 2024, but they really haven't. The range of ILSs and VORs are unrealistically low. NDBs the same way. I'd like to do a flight. In fact, we probably will one of these days in Northern Europe to Svalbard in the F28, because that was the first commercial jet service into Svalbard. And I Builds just released a version of that airport, and I'd really like to give it a go. But you really need an NDB to cross the ocean over to Svalbard. I mean, you can dead reckon it, I suppose. And that might be a fun little lesson on dead reckoning. But, yeah, kind of frustrating. Alright, we've gotten back to our speed, so let's bring it back to 91 even. So I'm just adjusting the throttles right here. And then once I have it about in the neighborhood I want it, I'm trying to match up the fuel flows as best I can. So now we're at 165, 164. That's pretty good. Let's see what that does to the speed. Okay, the ATIS for my Hemi. We're still talking the ILS 9. Checking VetSim radar here. Let's bring up the CTAF. .3. We're also listening on Unicom. There we go. Now we can switch over. Let's switch over to number 2. We're getting the DME. So when you're switching the VORs, your VOR receivers, you want to align the heading bug because you want to go into heading mode. Switch to nav2. It's interesting. I got a good 2 flag here, but I'm not getting it on the RMI. Well, I guess I'm not picking it up. I'm picking up the DME, but I'm not picking up the VOR. Well, let's stay on 1 a little longer. All the way to 95 DME. We should pick it up here. I mean, I know it's a low volume VOR, but at 17,000 feet. Right? I would be trying to identify it. That's another problem with another bug sort of within Asobo is you can't turn up the volume of the identifiers. They're playing, they have it so it works, but it's so quiet. And that was, I believe that was present in 2020 as well. Well, we're 16 miles out. I'm still not picking up a signal. That's no bueno. No bueno. But we got the DME okay. And it is not listed as a DME only. Alright, well, whatever. Let's get Dolphin tuned in. 113.9. Let's try that on nav 2. Alright, so our inbound course to Dolphin on the airway. .322. 322, 222, 122, 142. I'm actually out of LaBelle, which I'm coming up on pretty quick, yeah. Is 136. So let's go to nav 2. Here's 95. I can make the turn. .42. Beam. Low. Good. Heading to Dolphin. Now I can get nav 1 set up for the ILS into ILS runway 9 into Miami, which is 110.9. Right, I'm on nav 2, so I can play with nav 1. I might have to break out of the approach at some point and sort of vector me around, because Dolphin will put me kind of in an awkward spot. So when I get a little closer, I'll break out. But let's start our descent. What's our... we want to get down to 4,000 feet. So let's start down. Go pitch. Pitch down. Bring the throttles back a little bit. I still want to hold about 300 knots in the descent. I don't need to descend any faster than about 1,000 feet a minute. We're still about 15 miles out, or 15 minutes away. I always wish you could switch this over to 1 if you wanted to, so that you could get your minutes or your ground speed. But apparently you couldn't. Okay, we've begun our descent. Air conditioning and pressurization is set. We have our landing elevation. Excuse me. Landing elevation is set, so we're good. Altimeters and instruments.
Landing traffic, American 756, ILS.
I did not hear that very well. Anyway, sorry, I got interrupted by the traffic. So our descent and approach shoulder harnesses are secured. Air conditioning pressurization is set. Altimeter, that's what I wanted to get. I want Miami. The ATIS right now, 3002. There we go. That's what I wanted. Alright. Yeah, it's still information Bravo, 1153 Zulu, wind 350 at 410 miles, fuel 2500.
American 36.
Yeah, still can't quite hear him. Looks like he's landing runway 9, so I think we're in good shape. And we are Piedmont 765. All right, when we're about, I don't know, 30 miles out, we'll head south. Because we want to stay far enough east so that when we turn to the south, we don't get too close to the airport. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn out of the left base. So we'll go to heading. We'll go to heading here. And we'll start the turn. We'll go 170. See how close that gets us. Never did get the seatbelt sign. We can go to nav1, and now nav2 is on Dolphin, nav1 is on the localizer. The inbound course is 92. Come about 10,000 feet. Bring the power back. Here's the gear horn. We can silence it. Go ahead and get our lights on. There's 10,000 feet. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765, about 30 miles northwest inbound. We'll be setting up for the ILS runway 9 at Miami. Use the speed brake.
American 1136, what's your runway 9?
Use the speed.
Delta 6.
All right, that American is down and off. We'll use that speed brake to slow us down. There's 250 knots. Set up our landing bugs. Again, it tracks our weight. It's kind of nice. Flap 42. Our speed's check 119 is our ref. So about 124 or so. On our way down to 4,000 feet. Looking good. I like it. See, okay. I'm assuming it's doing it right. I'll be interested to see. So, the ground speed readout on a DME is based on your closure rate to the DME antenna. So, in other words, if you are flying a perfect arc around the DME, your ground speed will read 0. It is only accurate when you're flying directly to it. Now, we're not flying directly to it right now. We're off to the side. I would expect it to read lower than our airspeed, right? Significantly lower. So our indicated airspeed is 250 knots. Our true airspeed is probably somewhere around 270, right? 265-ish at 7,000 feet. So this could be exactly right. All right, we're getting our localizer, and we're 27 miles out on the localizer, so it's good. We'll bring the power back to idle. So I suspect Just Flight has it computing correctly. And see how it's dropping, and we haven't really slowed down? Yeah. Not several other aircraft do not do that correctly. They actually pull your ground speed. Which again, if you're just using DME, VOR DME navigation, that's not how it works. So, very cool that it appears that they modeled that correctly. Alright. We should be getting pretty close here. We're going to keep on slowing. And about, I'm going to slow right on through to 160 knots. We'll just let the airplane slow itself. Watching for that needle to come alive. And our inbound course, so we can kind of keep an eye on the DHP. The Dolphin VOR is just west of the airport, and when that is getting really close to 90, we know it's about time to turn in. There's 1,000 to go. Bring our rate of descent to about 1,000 feet. So we're watching the number 2. And when that's probably about 95 or so, that's when we know we're getting really close to the localizer. Because this is what the heading we would have to fly to go direct to Dolphin. Which isn't going to line up exactly with the localizer, but it's going to be close. So the VOR sits a little north of the localizer course. Excuse me. So there's 95. So let's bring up an intersect heading. 120. And I flew through my altitude during our talk. So let's level off. Loke's alive. So let's beam. Let's floor Loke. Let's get slowed down. I'm just gonna hold height here.
Course bar active.
Is our Loke intercept? Bring flaps 6. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765, 20 mile final, runway 9. Slow down to about 180 knots. Watching for that glide slope to come alive. It's 4,000 feet at leg intersection, which is 16.1 DME. TTC switches go to takeoff. Glide slope's alive. So let's go to glide slope auto. Glide. It's armed. I know. Missed approach altitude is 3,000. There's glide slope capture. Flaps 11. 160 knots. $1,500 feet is our final approach fix. Or it's the outer marker. Final approach fix is glide slope intercept altitude, which is like 14. What is it? 14. No, it's 1,500. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765, 10 mile final, runway 9.
Come through, please take your seats well.
Lift dampers are on, landing gear to go.
Cabin is secured for arrival.
Thank you. All right.
$2,500.
Gear down.
You're down. That's 18. That's 25. Before landing checklist. No smoking seatbelt sign is on. Lift dumpers are armed. Anti-skid. Let me do a quick check here. Yep. Flaps. Before landing check was complete.
Speed. Speed.
Speed check. Alrighty. Nice to have a first officer there. Here we go. 1,500 feet. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765, 5 mile final. Runway 9. Keep in mind too, the DME you get on a ILS is to the localizer antenna, which is typically at the end, the far end of the runway. So when it says 6 miles, you've got a mile or two of runway between you. So you really are only, you know, that was probably more like 4.5 miles from the threshold. So if Tower tells you to report a 5 mile final, theoretically it's a good idea to take that into account. Mm-hmm. 1,000 feet, stable. Sync 800. Green lines. See if I can do this without embarrassing myself. Autopilot's away. Really important to be on speed in this airplane, because if you're fast, it's very easy to bounce.
100 feet to minimum. Minimums.
Continue. A little low.
Right slow.
More visual. Speed's on.
50,
Right in the bug.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Bumpers are out. Spoilers. Speed brake is deployed. A little left to center. I'm got my rudder in trying to get back, but of course below 80 knots. I don't have any rudder control, so I'm on the tiller. Look at that. We managed not to bend anything. Go off at this, turn off at this high speed here. And we'll head over to the echo gates. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765, we're clear of runway 9. Taxiing to the echo gates. Alright, we're clear of the runway after landing. Give that door a chance to open up. Just taxi Tango all the way in. Start up the APU. Let's see. Let's go to... Or actually, it's the Juliet gates we're going to. It's the last pier. Let's go to Juliet 9. Miami traffic, Piedmont 765. We're crossing runway 12 at Tango. Juliet 9. Are they all heavy gates? I guess they are now. Whatever. Alright, APU's on. Generator's on. Air's on. Stay in Quebec, or return on Quebec. And then Quebec should lead us right into the ramp up here at the second left. There's the first left. That was fun, wasn't it? It is such a cool airplane, and Just Flight has done a great job adapting it to we're creating the native version for 2024. They have the Pro livery pack, which has some really good liveries in it. Yeah, I like I said, I downloaded one off the TO. I didn't test it beforehand. I probably should have, but it's the Piedmont metal livery, the silver livery as they called it. It's really kind of cool. And they ran these F28 1000s as part of their Florida Shuttle service, and I don't know. It's a really cool story. If you enjoy vintage airlines and vintage airliners, I highly recommend you take a look at joining Piedmont Virtual. It's what I'm doing this flight under today, and we have many timetables from historic airlines like Northwest and Piedmont, AirCal, PSA, and probably a few airlines you've never even heard of. We even have some YS11 routes now. 15, 11, 9. I never got my lights. My bad. Juliet 9. There's my marshaller. And I think Just Flight mentioned to me in my correspondence with them that they were going to be running some specials on this airplane with the update. So if you don't own it, this might be your chance to get it at something of a discount. But check out justflight.com. Can't say enough good things about their airplanes. They are one of the premier developers, and never disappoint. Never disappoint. Wonderful work they do. Brakes, seatbelt, the Jen is on bus, air is on, we can shut them down.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross check.
As soon as we get below, well, we're below 10%, so we'll go ahead and kill the anti-collision lights. And we'll deboard. Electricals as required, seatbelt signs off, air conditioning pressures off, one on, APU bleed air is on, anti-ice is off. Pitot heat is off. Windshield heat is off. Radar and transponder is off. Flaps are up. Speed brakes are in. Lift dampers are in. HP fuel valve levers are shut. Booster pumps are off. Anti-collision lights are off. Yaw damper is off. Flight controls are locked. And parking brake is set. There you go, folks. The amazing, wonderful, fun to fly Just Flight F28. Can't say enough about it. Give them a check out. I'm CJ. I'm your classic jet sim pilot. Hope to see you next time. And in the meantime, keep the shiny side up.